So can you actually polish a ceramic coated car, or are you completely removing the coating when you do that? And this is a question that comes up all the time, especially from people who have recently coated their car and they're just totally afraid to touch it, right? They're really paralyzed by it. It's a big investment, either time or money investment, and they don't want to mess it up, clearly. So, the short answer, I guess, to this is yes, you can polish a ceramic coated car, but the reality is anytime you introduce any abrasion at all, you are either removing or at best weakening the coated areas. That's exactly why I tell my customers who get their car ceramic coated, when they also ask, can I take it through a tunnel car wash? I say, well, yeah, sure, you could do whatever you want. Just know that all those brushes and the heavy pH of those chemicals are at best weakening the coating. So don't expect to get the full life out of the coating if you're going to maintain it that way. That's why I talk about, having these types of conversations before you even ceramic coat a car at all. But here's the thing too, when it comes to polishing, I'll try to stay on topic because that is the topic for this episode. If you choose the right polish and the right recoating strategy, and that's what I want to talk about today, it's going to save you a ton of frustration. Obviously, it's not ideal to polish a ceramic coating, but things happen. You scratch your car, you come up against a yellow parking pole, someone hits you, whatever. There's a million different things. You go through the tunnel car wash and your car starts looking bad. You don't have the right car wash techniques and you start getting spider webbing marks in your coating. There's a bunch of different things that can happen to make the car start to look unsightly. And so, again, that's where I think the right kind of polish and recoat strategy can really save you a ton of time. Actually, this is a perfect excuse for this. That's one thing that I was considering when I was actually developing the Picture Perfect polish, and the reason why I did develop it the way that I did is I had this in mind. If we need to fix a ceramic coated car, because these are issues that happen in the real world. These are the issues that come through my shop. Granted, I'm not detailing too many cars anymore because the product brand has really taken just overwhelming. It's overwhelming and it's completely taken over my life. And so, but again, 16 years of detailing, I've learned a lot. So I guess we should talk about too. One thing that gets confusing is like polishing versus compounding. And so I use the term just polishing as a universal term. When I was working with Tom, that was really one thing we talked about, like a polish is just a better term for it. But just know that when I talk about polishing, I'm talking about compounding or polishing, either one, right? So we're talking about, mechanical abrasion, leveling the surface, right? Whether the surface is the coating or the clear coat, even if it's minor, even if it's a light polish, even if it's, a heavy compound. I'm just going to refer to it as polishing because that's the most simplest way to talk about it. It gets very confusing when you start talking about compound, polish, blah, blah, blah. What's the difference? We can have that discussion, but not today, right? So a ceramic coating is something that is sitting on top of the clear coat. So it bonds, it hardens, but it's still a layer on top of the clear coat. So when you introduce any abrasion, you start removing that layer or at least thinning that layer. So, it's not too dissimilar from waxes and sealants and all that. It's a sacrificial layer protecting your clear coat underneath that layer, right? But any type of abrasion can take this down a notch, right? Can slightly remove it. And this kind of goes into my whole ethos of my whole brand, everything from the super soaper to not have to touch the car as much. It all comes back to like not wearing down the protection on your car, being able to touch your car often to clean your car often to make sure you have a clean car without running the risk of damaging anything. And then when you do damage it, which is what we're talking today, you can polish it and recoat it, no problem. So, no matter what brand of coating you're using too, I think this goes without saying, but I will say it anyway. No matter what brand of coating you're using, whether it's a pro-only coating, spray coating, tough shell, whatever. Abrasion is abrasion. Okay. So if you got a scratch, water spots, which I've been talking about, towel marring, a light polish, a heavy compound, it doesn't matter. So you are removing the coating in that area, right? So think about it if you, in real dramatic terms, if you're sanding clear film, you can smooth it out, but the clear coat is gone in that spot, right? So the problem, what usually happens is people totally panic, right? They get a scratch, so they polish it. They get water spots on their windshield. They polish their windshield, and then they realize that the water's not beating anymore. The coating's not acting how the coating should act. So now they have to recoat it, but then they wonder if they need to strip the whole car and start over. And that's a big question that gets asked. Hey, I messed up on this one panel. I had water spots on my 2 doors, and I removed them. I polished them, but now do I need to recoat my whole car, right? And then this becomes a hassle. Turns into this long, stressful, drawn-out process. You fix one thing, you remove the scratch, you remove the water spots, whatever, but now you have to redo the coating, the cure times, find the shade, get it inside, take it back to the shop. When I think in reality, it just shouldn't be that complicated, but the detailing industry is known for overcomplicating things, right? So again, that's the exact pain point, or one of the pain points that I was thinking about when developing the Picture Perfect polish. So as well as all the other attributes of the polish, right? It cuts, great cut, finishes down beautifully. But one of the most important things was it didn't leave a residue or film that interfered with coatings. And this is something that, where the IPA wipe came from is because we have 2 things going on at once. We have people that want, and brands that develop products with really long work times, which I think is really important. But in order to get those really long work times in the polishes or compounds, whatever, they add a lot of oil to the formula. But then what happens is even as you're buffing, all that oil gets left on the surface. So that oil will interfere with the coating, right? And so the tricky part was, how do we get a product that still has long work time, but isn't going to leave any oils or residue behind that interfere with the coatings, right? These oils, sometimes they're fillers, but the main thing is that they prevent the coating from bonding properly. So you have to correct the panel, then you cannot immediately coat it. It'll be really weird and really slippery, and it'll fight. It's really difficult to explain without seeing it, but it fights bonding. The coating is trying to bond, but it can't because it has these oils in the way. And so that's why brands recommend an IPA wipe, right? So you polish it, you remove the oils, and then you have a bare surface. The problem is that sometimes when you hit it with the IPA or the alcohol wipe or the panel prep or whatever you want to call it, you run the risk of marring the surface. You run the risk of seeing the true results of what the polish is or isn't doing, correction-wise. And so you could think that you corrected the panel only to panel wipe it with an alcohol or a panel prep or something, and it reveals a bunch of scratches that you may have put in with the panel prep. See the problem? So I, on the other hand, and what makes the Picture Perfect polish different is I wanted something pure, a one-step, true correction, finishes ready for coating. That was a monumental task for something so simple, which is true in life. Usually simple things are actually very difficult. You can literally polish and coat the same panel minutes later. You don't need heavy prep. You don't need the IPA wipe. You can if you want to, and if you want to see what the true surface is and how it's, after you get done polishing with the Picture Perfect polish and then you hit it with the IPA wipe, you're going to have the same looking surface. It is a true correction. You don't need to worry, let the product gas out or anything like that. So where this translates into the real world is if you have a coated car and you do get a scratch or need to touch up a panel, maybe you get in a car accident or something and your bumper gets repainted, right? It's what I don't want it to be is a weekend-long project, right? You polish that spot with the Picture Perfect polish, wipe it, remove the residue, and reapply the Gloss Boss or whatever coating you're using, right? Toughest Shell, whatever, and you're done. It's not difficult. It's very, very simple. It was incredibly difficult, and a ton of R&D hours went into getting the picture perfect polish down to that so it could be that simple. And that's exactly what I wanted. But so to give some real life examples of things I've done and how I've handled this in real life situations, if it's like a little spot repair, one small spot like a bird poop or a scratch, I just polish that area, recoat that spot, done, right? If it's an entire door or hood, maybe it's looking really scratched up, you go to the car wash, water spots, something like that. I may work the entire door, the entire hood. I'm definitely not going to do like half a hood like this. If it's a really big scratch, I will do that whole panel, whatever, like kind of seam to seam, edge to edge. And again, it's just a polish and a recoat, right? If the whole car is contaminated or has water spots over the whole entire car, again, better off you're in it for a full correction and recoat. It's basically starting from scratch. But again, the same logic applies. You are just polishing and coating. So, it doesn't. Sometimes detailing is so overcomplicated, and sometimes we speak in absolutes, like it has to be all or nothing. You have to recoat the whole entire panel or nothing. But the reality is it doesn't have to be all or nothing. The right polish, the right system gives you the flexibility, right? And that's what the Jimbo's system is. It's just simple, it's fast, and it's effective. So a lot of people ask me for a step-by-step, so a real-world workflow, I guess, of how I would practically handle this whole entire process if I had to correct and coat a car today. Here's exactly how I do it and how I would do it. I would wash it with the Super Soaper, so I would pre-soak a completely dry car with the Super Soaper using 4 ounces of soap in my foam cannon. I would use half the foam cannon on this dry car to foam it completely. I would let that sit for 3 to 5 minutes. I would rinse it, and then I would use the second half of the foam cannon to foam the car a second time. And if the car was really dirty, I may do a contact wash, but 90% of the time, I'm not doing a contact wash after this. That is going to completely clean the car for me. If I needed to, I would maybe clay spots that I knew were already rough, maybe not. I would dry the car, inspect it, and then hit the area with the Picture Perfect polish and the cut and finish pad, the burgundy pad. That's my favorite combo. That is the combo that I notice works 99% of the time. I don't even need the finish pad. That's what I would do. I would wipe that off with a clean microfiber towel, the residue from the polish, and then I would immediately recoat it, either Toughest Shell if it's spray coating or the Gloss Boss for the wipe-on coating. So again, this workflow, it's simple, but it eliminates the need to overthink it. It's quick, efficient, you know what you're getting, proper bonding, and that is the key for anything. So if you wanted to continue it out for a whole panel and go seam to seam, you totally can, but you definitely don't have to. You can recoat over an area that's coated, so that's another option too. Like if you have a scratch in the middle of the door, you could fix the scratch and then recoat the whole entire door. You could do that as well if you wanted to. But again, you can polish a ceramic coated car, but just know that polishing removes some or all of the coating. So it's not a bad thing. It just means you need to reapply. And sometimes that's actually a better thing, to reapply a fresh layer of coating. But again, this is why I built the Picture Perfect polish the way I did, so you can keep your car looking perfect without dreading the maintenance. Again, polishing is not my favorite part of detailing, right? And so I looked to build something that didn't exist that fit my desire to not have to polish a car all day. I want to get a car done in a couple hours, right? So I would love to hear, though, how you guys handle ceramic coated car corrections. Are you recoating the whole car? Are you recommending that for customers? Are you doing it? Have you noticed changes in the hydrophobics after correcting? Have you been able to use a polish and not have to recoat? That would kind of be interesting too. So If you want to try the Picture Perfect polish or the coating combo I talked about, you can obviously grab them at jimbosdetailing.com or on Amazon. As always, if you found this helpful, hit subscribe, share this with someone who's scared to touch their coated car. And don't be scared to touch your coated car. It's not magic sauce on your car, right? It's very doable. It's easy to recoat, especially if you use something like the Gloss Boss. It is definitely not something that you need to be intimidated by, and it can be done. So with that, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. See ya.